Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia vs. Reality First Looks, where we take some look at some games that don't necessarily fit within the standard review structure for this series. Today we're looking at Unreal Tournament 2004, the last of the great Unreal Tournament games.
Play.
Now, there was, I guess I should say, an Unreal Tournament game after this one. Unreal Tournament 3 came out.
Power node under construction.
I'm actually not super sure when it did, but it came out later, and it wasn't very good. Unreal Tournament 2004 was probably the last good Unreal Tournament game. And right now we're playing the game mode that would have been most often associated with Unreal Tournament 2004, Onslaught, which basically involves taking some capture points and just hanging out on them a little bit. Now it's been entirely too long since I played this. I'm not super sure. Okay, I'm a red. I'm on the red team. So the basic thing here is that we're taking these power nodes, but you can only take power nodes directly next to ones that you already have. So you start from your base and work your way back. I shouldn't have gotten in a vehicle. Now this is I was sort of inspired to play this by Cliff Bleszinski's talking lately that maybe he wants to make a new arena shooter, and of course he'd worked for Epic when they were making these games, the old Unreal Tournament games. Unreal Tournament 2003, and of course Unreal Tournament 2004 for playing here.
Red power node destroyed.
Now, I would absolutely love for them to make a new shooter like this. I love these sorts of shooters, and there really hasn't been one. I mean, the last real attempt was, I don't actually remember how to start these things. But the last real attempt to make an arena shooter was Unreal Tournament 3, and it didn't do it. I mean, it was okay, but it was nowhere near as good or as interesting as Unreal Tournament 2004 or 2003. But I mean, 2003 was also a disappointment, sort of. There was a little, I guess there was about a year or so where they expected to make Unreal Tournament a yearly thing, and that obviously didn't work out for them. And Unreal Tournament 2003 is sort of commonly accepted as the inferior version of Unreal Tournament 2004, which you would hope it was. We're going to go ahead and drop out, and we're going to take a look at some deathmatch. Sadly, there are not a lot of people playing this game online. There are a few, but not many. We can take a quick look. So the one game mode that was sort of exclusive to 2004, never made it into any later games, was Bombing Run, which is this weird sort of version of like futuristic shooty football, where you have the ball and you have to like go score in a goal with it. But at the core of every single arena shooter out there is deathmatch. So many maps. Now, I mean, I've never been super good at 2004. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never got that good at playing 04. I was pretty good at Quake 3 for a good long while. And I'm still, if you give me a little warm-up time, I'm still pretty good when I play Quake Live. But Unreal Tournament, like, I love Unreal Tournament, but I was never amazing at it. I could win the odd deathmatch game, but I was never all that good at it. A lot of the UT guns require some pretty serious accuracy, which I was never good with. I was always more the person that found the rocket launcher in Quake and then just killed people with that. course, the rocket launcher in this game is also a whole hell of a lot of fun. And here it is, actually. So. This is also sort of a welcome change from all the games coming out right now with all sorts of DLC that you have to pay for and everything. There's so many, they put out so many free maps for the old Unreal Tournament games. Of course, this was back in a time where there was no central place to download that stuff. You couldn't just log on to Steam and download it or anything. You had to, like, to go visit FileFront or something like that. I think my service of choice was File Planet, and you'd have to, like, if you didn't have a paid for account, you'd have to wait in line to download the latest Unreal Tournament maps. It was really, really silly. I actually don't know what I'm playing the bots on, what difficulty. It's probably going to be... Oh, Adept. Okay. I don't feel as embarrassed as I could, I guess. I mean, I guess the real question this sort of comes down to is, would I actually recommend people play this today? Like, I don't know. The problem, like I said before, the problem is that there's nobody playing this. And the entire point of this is multiplayer. I'm playing with some bots here, and it's sort of an amusing look back into my nostalgia, but if I wanted to play this for any real length of time, I'd want to play against real people. And every once in a while, you'll be given a chance to do that. You know, if you have a group of friends that you want to, like, organize games with and stuff, that could definitely be this could definitely be a great game to do that with, but you're not going to find anybody just looking for servers. If you want an arena-based game like this, I highly recommend you go pick up, and you don't really pick it up because you don't have to pay for it, but you get into Quake Live. There's still plenty of people that play that. As much of a financial failure as it's been for id, it's basically just Quake 3. And, I mean, there's sure as hell nothing wrong with Quake 3. I really wish that Quake 4 was better than it ended up being, but that's a discussion for when we're playing Quake. Unreal Tournament, Unreal Tournament kind of became, starting with this one, really became about Onslaught. Much like Battlefield games today are almost entirely, well, Battlefield games forever have almost entirely been about conquest. Of course, the problem was Unreal Tournament was originally like a deathmatch game, like most arena-based shooters. So having the Onslaught was really fun. I really liked Onslaught, but there's sort of something so much better to playing deathmatch in one of these games. You know, I'm not really doing much of it. There's lots of sort of aerobatic tricks you can perform in here. And of course, we've got this rockin' music that's just kind of awful. I got even at the time, I'd have to say this was pretty dated. Wow, I actually hit somebody with a lightning rifle. You can get really good with these little aerobatic tricks or whatever. I never was, but you can get, I've seen some people do some pretty incredible stuff with that. It's sort of like when you see people do crazy things in Battlefield today. But again, like, it's just playing this makes me just sort of sad. Like, the closest thing we have to like a really fast-paced shooter like this today is Call of Duty, and that's really just not the same at all. It's not nearly as fast-paced. It's not nearly as fun either. You know, I really miss like having all the super varied weapons, and you know, just them being all over the map. I miss a lot of things about these kinds of games. Another mode I really liked, I'm not going to have time to show it here today, but I really liked playing Assault, where you had like an objective and you had to like do it in steps. And so that one team would be trying to complete the end objective, something like launch a nuclear missile or whatever, and then the other team is trying to prevent that from happening. So there's multiple objectives in a single map. Probably the most impressive one was Mothership, where you start off fighting in space and then you go onto the space station and fight for objectives and that sort of thing. But you know, like again, that is a game mode you just cannot play today. The few people that are still playing this game, when they are playing this game, are playing Onslaught and they're playing Deathmatch, and that's it. You can't find any other game modes. You can't find Assault. You sure as hell can't find Bombing Run, which I also sort of enjoyed. But right now, like I looked before I started recording this, and there's no one playing multiplayer at all right now. A lot of the multiplayer servers that are still left are usually just full of bots, and it's depressing. There's no way I'm going to hit him with a lightning rifle. Well, I might eventually. Another really fun thing that uses this shock rifle that I'm using right now is called Instagive. It's a mutation that basically makes you have a shock rifle only with the beam, no orbs, and every shot is a one-hit kill. I loved playing Instagive CTF on Two Worlds. God, so good. I'm in last place. You know, talking. I'm gonna blame it on talking and not on my skills at Unreal Tournament that are already somewhat subpar and have not gotten better after years of not playing this game. What do you know? And I managed to keep killing myself with a rocket launcher even. This isn't a rocket jump game. I'll give you that. This isn't Quake in many ways. I mean, Unreal Tournament 2004 was lucky in that it didn't really have a direct competitor, because Quake 3 had come out in 1999 when the first Unreal Tournament came out, and Quake 4 didn't come out until 2005 or 2006, I believe. It was about the time that the 360 launched, because I remember they had a really shitty version of that game that they put out on the 360. Quake 4 wasn't bad, but the multiplayer was not all that different from Quake 3, and it felt slower and more sluggish, and that may have had something to do with the visuals of it, but I really don't know. It felt different in a really bad way. But of course, if there's anything that people that are super into arena shooters like this are hostile to, it's definitely change. But I think that's going to do it for us. I was going to wait until this game got done, but I don't think we're anywhere near that. And I'm not going to win anyway. But you get the idea. This is a really, really fun arena shooter. If you have a group of friends you can play this with, absolutely pick this up. If not, it's a nice piece of history, but sadly no one plays it anymore. I'll see you next time we look at a game that I can't spend the time to review.